hour sparring in an outside gym at the Diamond Beach Hotel Casino. The temperature climbs to the high 30s during the day, and at night it only drops down to around 29 degrees. But Michael isn't worried about the heat.
He's won all his fights on early knockouts, and I think if it gets beyond the 5th round, which it's definitely going to do, I'm going to finish up knocking him out, because I can't see him lasting 15 in the heat. And if it does, if it has to go 15, if he's still there at the end of 15, well, I'll be there, mate, because I've proved that time and again.
If the heat doesn't get Barry Michael, Choi might. The tiny Korean's won 15 of his 17 professional fights by knockout. American officials here for the championship say Choi is strong and punches hard with both hands. None of his fights have gone past 12 rounds, and Michael's trainer has warned him to be careful early. The locals have shown little interest in the Korean since his arrival on Wednesday. His workouts have been limited to jogging and shadow boxing on the beach early in the morning. Speaking through an interpreter today, he said Barry Michael was too old and his short reign as world champ would end on Saturday night. Like Muhammad Ali, Choi even predicted the round.
Okay, if they kill, 7 round kill.
Despite Choi's confident prediction, the bookmakers here in Darwin have Barry Michael a raging hot favourite. He's quoted at 2-1 on today, the Korean 3-1 against. 100 in Australia, where punters can bet legally on the bout, and the big gamblers have plonked for Barry Michael to successfully defend his world junior lightweight crown. At the Greyhounds here last night, they named the main race in Michael's honour, but the champ missed the meeting. Instead, he went for a run with one of his trainers. His mind is on the fight. Tomorrow night's not only his first title defence, but by far his biggest payday in 15 years of boxing. Barry, you've come a long way to Darwin for this world title fight. Is this your biggest payday to date?
Oh, by far, Mike. It's, you know, around about $100,000, and, you know, it's by far the most that I've earned. But after Paul Keating gets through with me, I won't have much of that left, I wouldn't imagine.
I notice as the fight looms up, you're getting fairly touchy.
Mate, I've been touchy for about 2 weeks. You know, I think it's just part of being the pressure from being champion. Although, you know, you always get irritable towards big fights, but, you know, because I'm on such a stringent diet too, and I'm a pretty good eater, and I don't mind a few beers, as everybody knows, you know, I'm bound to get a little bit touchy, but I mean, everything's going 100%, the same as it did before the Lestrellis fight. I was the same before that, and they say it's a good sign in a fighter when he's snapping at someone.
The heat and a special diet supervised by wife Sandy has kept his weight in check. After fasting for a day, Michael devoured an extra large plate of spaghetti at lunchtime. Despite today's hearty meal, Barry Michael says he's only 1 pound over and should be right on the limit at the weigh-in tomorrow morning. In Darwin, Mike Tancred for Eyewitness News.
This is Barry stepping onto the scales, and there was a moment when they thought he was just over the weight, but he came in just under it, 58.967 kilos. And that's 9 stone 4 pounds. Choi, on the other hand, wasn't at all worried. He's been here for a few days. He's done no hard training. He's just been controlling his weight, and he really had no problems, although he too was close to the limit at 58.95 kilograms, very close to Barry Michael's weight. Professional contest, a winner of 17 of those 18, 15 of them by knockout. And here comes Jin-Shik Choi, being led in there by the flag bearer from Korea. And Jin-Shik Choi, you can see him bobbing up and down there, dancing a bit as he makes his approach to the ring. Jin-Shik Choi, the challenger from Seoul in Korea. An extremely confident young man. He has predicted that he's going to win this contest within 7 rounds by knockout. And he certainly has a knockout record.
That's a tall order, John. That's a very tall order.
Yes, it is, because Barry Michael is a tough boy. He's been on the floor only once in his professional career, only knocked out once and never knocked out. So if Choi can knock out the champion in this contest tonight, he'll be the first man ever to do it.
I somehow can't see that, John. I mean, admittedly that Choi has got a very good knockout record. I just can't see him beating Barry Michael.
Well, Choi in a moment will enter the ring. You'll notice that his hands have been taped, but he's not allowed to put on the gloves, of course, before he enters the ring. The gloves were inspected at the weigh-in this morning by both camps. They were weighed, They're going to use the 8-ounce gloves for this contest, and both boxers will be gloved in the ring. So it's Jin-Shik Choi, the challenger from Korea, entering the ring for his attempt to take the World Junior Lightweight Championship from Australia's Barry Michael.
He does look very good, John. Sorry to interrupt you.
가볍게 컨디션 조절하고 중량 웨이트 조절만 하면 되니까.
I just told you he had a hard training practice. I mean practice and during 3 months in summertime in Korea. So just we arrived here, no training. The reason why we didn't train practice is just for control his weight and just prepared his coming title fight. Just that's all.
So how confident are you of winning?
이길 때 대해서 어떻게 생각하나 이런 거지. 예? 이기는 데 대해서 어떻게 표를 이기겠는데 아니면 무슨
켜.
이기겠다고 시합에 대해서 말이지.
이기면은 KO로 이기고 저도 KO로 진다.
Yeah, if he said just this title gonna be fight, one of the boxer will be knocked down.
I see. In other words, if you don't knock him out early in the contest, you're not confident of winning. Can you win it if it goes 15 rounds?
그때 상황에 따라서 KO도 갈 수 있는 거고, 그러나 KO를 생각하지만은 그 시합에 대비해서는 뭐 KO도 문제가 아니지만은 판정까지도.
And here's Barry Michael, the champion, Barry Michael from Melbourne. The little Aussie battler, as they call him. He seems to have lost the tag of the fossil, having won the championship.
That's right. He looks like a true champion, and he's coming in there with the confidence that he's obviously mastered since winning the title.
And surprisingly, Barry Michael has entered the ring very soon after, or will enter the ring very soon after Choi. I thought he might keep him waiting in there and then he sweat it out for a while.
You know, it's amazing that a true champion doesn't have to keep his opponents waiting. Look at the beautiful fireworks.
Yes, the fireworks greet the arrival of the world champion, the world junior lightweight champion, Barry Michael of Australia. And Barry is looking absolutely great. Great display here. Darwin has really turned it on for this World Junior Lightweight contest in which Barry Michael will defend his title against Jin-Shik Choi.
I think there's going to be a lot of fireworks in that ring tonight, John, and I feel very confident.
When I watched him at his final training session on Thursday.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise.
All right.
Barry, are you satisfied that you're properly prepared for the contest?
Oh, John, definitely. I've been hard training for about 10 weeks. I've adjusted the weight accordingly, the same as I did for the Lester Ellis fight. I was half a pound over this morning. I think tomorrow I'll just dry out and probably loosen up a little bit tomorrow. I think I should do the weight fine. I think Australia will see me in as good a condition as when I took the title from Lester Ellis, if not better.
Has it been difficult to acclimatise in Darwin?
It's been tough, mate, yeah. The first week in particular, it knocked both Brian Schofield and I about. The conditions took a bit of getting used to, but I think I made the right move being here 3 weeks beforehand. I've acclimatised well, and I'm actually enjoying the heat and looking forward to getting the fight over with so I can get a suntan and have a few cold beers.
Tell us what your training routine has been.
Well, originally I started with road work every morning and then running on the beach and sparring on the beach in the morning and then training at 4:30 in the afternoon. But I was having a lot of difficulty sleeping, so I changed my training routine from training here at 4:30 and running at 9 o'clock at night, which is the time that I'll probably enter the ring. So I think that helped me a great deal. So tonight I'll just run very lightly at 9 o'clock and that'll be the finish of it.
How much do you know about the challenger, Barry?
I've got him on tape. He's a good puncher. There's no doubt he's a knockout puncher. He's got a very lethal right hand, overhand right, which is hard to pick. And he's a good body puncher, which should suit me because I'm a body puncher. So I imagine there'll be some good rallies in close. I think looking at him, I'm going to be a little bit too smart for him, a little bit too seasoned. I think the first 5 or 6 are going to be my dangerous rounds. I think if he's going to win, he's got to do it early.
What are your plans after this fight, Barry?
Well, mates, really, I think we'll be looking at one more fight. It'll be overseas. The IBF representatives are talking about Bobby Chacon, who is 3 times world champion, still a big name in the States. And, you know, like what I'm after is that big American payday and the American exposure. One, to sort of see me out the game still undefeated champion.
I know you don't want to entertain this thought, but if you happen to lose, would this be the last fight for Barry Michael?
Definitely, without a doubt.
And Barry told me that, whereas he's been hedging with others, but that was very definite. If he loses tonight, it's his last contest. If he wins, he will have one more.
I think it's a very sensible reply he made there, because let's face it, he is champion, and if he should unfortunately get knocked out or lost a fight, I don't think he has any further future, and I think he'd better keep his title the way it is.
And well, let's hear what the referee, Pat McMurtry, has to say to the two boxers as he calls them to centre ring.
I want a clean fight. I'm the referee tonight, Pat McMurtry. This is for the Junior Lightweight Championship of the World. When I say break, I want you to break clean. I want no rabbit punching, no hitting below the belt. 3 knockdowns does not make this fight an end fight. I want you to protect yourself at all time. If at any time I think any one of you is hurt, I'll stop the fight. Good luck to both of you. Come on at the bell. Good luck, fellas.
And both of these boxers look ready to get on with this. Both very, very determined as they try to outsteer each other while listening to the referee's final instructions. So coming up, round 1 of the World Junior Lightweight title fight. Barry Michael of Australia, the champion in the blue, and Jin-Shik Choi of Korea, the challenger. Choi, very solid puncher and a good body puncher, already rips the left into the body. But Barry Michael won't mind that because he's a good strong body puncher too, and during his preparation his trainers have been really pummeling his body.
He's throwing a lot of leather, this Jin-Shik Choi.
Not a lot of science. Not a lot of science. Those punches are coming from anywhere and everywhere from Jin-Shik Choi. Michael certainly the classier boxer, and he staggered Choi with a good left, and double left into the body, hits him with the elbow into the corner. The Korean in a little bit of trouble momentarily, but there's plenty of fight in him. Well, Barry Michael said privately to me during the week that he was going to pace himself over the early rounds and let the Korean tire himself out. But Michael has already landed a couple of very good lefts.
I think Michael looks as though he's ready to take this young man out.
The Korean has landed with some left hooks. But Barry Michael has stung his opponent on a couple of occasions. Oh, good right into the body by Michael, followed by a left to the head. Lefts again from Michael, and the Korean backs off. We're halfway through round 1. Oh, and a good right hand by the Korean. That one found the mark. But it didn't seem to bother Michael. Michael lands a right and a left. Missed with a right. Not a lot of science about the Korean, but he's a very strong boy. Michael coming after the Korean again.
It's amazing, John. You can actually hear the punches and feel them from here. They're both throwing some very heavy leather.
They certainly are. They're putting a lot of body weight into those punches. Every one is meant to hurt. Barry Michael did tell me that the one punch he fears is the one that he doesn't see coming. And that was the type of punch, the only punch that has ever put him down in a professional contest. Didn't see it coming.
That's the one, John, that nobody sees.
Half a minute to go in the first round. And Choi still throwing plenty of leather. Well, there's been plenty of action in this opening round of the junior lightweight title fight.
Both men are taking deep breaths because they've thrown a lot of body shots now, and I think they've sapped a lot of strength.
Yes, and this weather is going to continue to sap that strength from both boxers, and Choi continuing to fight through a couple of punches after the bell, but no damage done. And that was a pretty good opening round.
Very good indeed. In fact, I would score that a even Stevens for both men.
Yes, there was nothing in that one. And here's some of the action. Barry Michael did manage to land a couple of good lefts in that contest, both to the head and to the body. But Choi also landed with some nice left hooks. And as you made the point, Joe, you could hear the punches landing. Every one of them is loaded. There was a good left from Choi, the Korean challenger. But I agree with you, a pretty even round. Both boxers scored with some very good punches. And, of course, the scoring system is the 10-point system. 3 judges are scoring this contest. There's Ray Stiles, the chief second for Barry Michael.
Second down, round 2.
He was in the corner with Barry for the title challenge earlier this year. Now it's round 2.
It seems to me, John, that science has gone out the window with these two. It resembles a little bit like the Lester Ellis fight where Barry Michael came on latter round to beat Ellis quite convincingly. So I think that's his tactic again, to wear him down, wear his opponent down and come on strong at the later rounds.
Well, the Korean certainly has come on strongly in the opening moments of the second round. He just tried to rip her right into the body. Looked a fraction low, but it didn't hurt Michael. And Michael scores with a couple of light blows in that infighting. Now the Korean throwing plenty of leather. And he's a solid puncher.
One thing about Barry is, John, that he can take a very good punch.
Yes, he has proved that throughout his career. Been put down only once, never been knocked out. The Korean, on the other hand, has been knocked out on one occasion. And he lost to Rod Sequenin, who was knocked out by Lester Ellis when he was defending his title for the first time.
Yes, and I did see that fight. Lester Ellis did do a very good job on him.
And this fight is coming to you live from Richardson Park in Darwin, the headquarters of the Northern Territory Rugby League.
John, another great fight for ABC.
Half the second round gone. And still neither boxer getting on top. Barry Michael lands with a couple of good straight lefts. Tries to follow up with a right which missed. The Korean is not terribly scientific. He throws those punches from anywhere and everywhere.
And what's incredible is he's thrown him in 5s and 6s, so it's very difficult for a fellow like Barry to keep away from him unless he's actually moving backwards, which means he could walk onto a very big punch.
Well, there's a good left. It just got around the glove of Barry Michael. But Michael is blocking most of those. Oh, and a left into the body by Michael made the Korean back off. But back he comes again. Well, the Korean is throwing much more leather at this moment than is the champion.
I think Barry can see the future of this fight already. He's standing there, he's letting the Korean boy punch himself out, and he'll come on strong.
Well, he did tell me the other day that they would be his tactics. He was going to try and allow the Korean to tire himself in the early rounds, cover up, block most of the punches, allow the Korean to throw a lot of leather and tire himself out. And that's what he's been doing in round 2 of this contest. And for the amount of leather thrown, I think I'd have to give that round very, very narrowly to the Korean.
Yes, I think it seemed that way as well.
Well, here's some of the action. And there was that left rip by Barry Michael. May have been slightly below the belt, but it made the Korean back off. But it was one of the rare moments in that second round in which the Korean wasn't throwing leather. He certainly threw plenty.
Yes, he did, and the 2 rounds have been very impressive.
I've mentioned that there are 3 judges scoring this contest tonight, and they are Clive Greedy of Newcastle, who is the Australian judge, Dai Yun-jung from Korea, the Korean judge, and the independent or neutral judge is Herb Min from Hawaii, the United States, of course. Now, round 3 coming up.
Come on, back.
And Barry Michael comes after his man at the beginning of round 3.
Okay, break. Hold on. Forward.
Referee wants them out of that corner. Well, Michael landed with good left and right. The Korean still throwing plenty of leather, but missing with many of these punches now. Barry Michael, good boxer, making the Korean miss there. Left and another left by Michael, and then he covers up. Took a good left to the side of the head, though, from Choi.
Michael.
It's nice to see this Korean pick his punches from the body up to the head.
Okay, breaker, hold.
Very few fighters are capable of doing that, so it's nice to see some combinations. Sugar Ray Robinson was very good at this, from body to the head.
If anything, Barry Michael might be just a fraction taller than Choi, and that's unusual for Michael. Usually he has to punch up. This time he can punch straight or down to the body. But he's not punching up tonight as he had to against Ellis when he won the title.
Keep him up, Mike.
There's a couple of low shots there that Barry Michael has thrown. I'm sure it's not deliberate.
Well, he landed a nice right cross there, and he lands another right. Michael doing a little better, half the round gone. Michael doing slightly better in this round than he was in round 2, although he's taking a bit now on the ropes. The Korean throwing a lot of punches. Good left from Michael.
Beautiful.
And another. Good left leads from Michael. Came over the top with a right. The Korean tried to punch the body again. Now it's the Korean in the neutral corner. Another left into the body from Michael, which again could have been just below the belt. The referee has said nothing to him, and now Michael comes back strongly after taking a left on the face. Only about half a minute of round 3 remaining. And the Korean's big right hand taken on the shoulder by Michael, but that one got through, right to the side of the head.
Keep him up, Michael. Nice fight, fellas.
I cannot believe, John, that the power these boys are actually throwing in this fight. I know it's only the 3rd round, but to stand after this hammering is incredible.
Well, there's the bell for the end of round 3, and both boxers landed some pretty good punches, and I noticed Choi followed Michael over to the corner that time, grinning at him.
Yes, he's slightly overconfident, I think. You know, he has a good rally and then he thinks he's done great. But
yes, there was a very good rally in the middle stages of that round from the Korean, and I think that he realized that he had Michael in trouble there, landed some good punches with lefts and rights, both to the head and body. A lot of punishment there taken by Michael, but I remember in the early stage of the contest with Lester Ellis in Melbourne, Barry took some punishment like that, but came back very, very strongly.
Yes, he did, and I think this is what's going to happen with Choi. He's going to burn himself out. You see, when you're a flat-footed fighter, you put all your energy into big punches. And Choi is a flat-footed fighter who depends everything on power. So his energy will be sapped.
Coming up now for round 4 of this contest. Michael trying to stick out that left hand. A couple of those punches to the body from Michael were good blows.
But he does tend to throw them a little bit low, and I'm a little bit surprised at Barry throwing him so low.
And while the Korean punched away to the body there, Michael landed with a good left hook to the head. The Korean is looking very, very strong indeed.
He's getting tired!
Good body shots.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant punch.
A good punch from Michael. Oh, a good left from the Korean.
It's amazing how the young man has come back. Now, Choi has really seen that he hurt Michael, and he's come back with the combinations.
Okay, you take it, take it up, boy.
Referee again says break, come back to centre ring, and Michael again goes in after his man. Oh, beautiful punch. Beautiful left hand work. A lovely combination from Michael, left and right. And the Korean takes the first ball. And it's a count of 8 from McMurtry. Now it's box on. And a punch to the body from Michael. Left and right to the head by Michael. And the Korean's in trouble. Michael has hurt Choi. Choi in trouble. And Michael goes after him. He's been down once and he's taking a lot of punishment. Michael is pouring it on now. He knows that he's got the Korean in all sorts of trouble. Oh, a good round for Barry Michael. The Korean knocked down with a magnificent combination left and right. And he's in trouble, he's tired. And Michael continues to land the punches.
I think Barry was taking a couple of deep breaths just when he went back, stepped back for a second or two, and
And that's when he's at his most dangerous. I can remember a couple of times before that Barry Michael stung, had stepped back and invited his opponent to come in and receive a couple.
Yes.
And he did that to Choi and put him down, and Choi is very tired. Choi is lying all over Michael. The referee says break. Choi looks groggy as Michael goes in after him again. Choi in trouble, bleeding from the nose.
As they say,
very
John,
tired.
As they say, John, he's knocked the stuffing out of the Korean at this stage. I think he'll be very glad to see at the end of the round.
Oh, more great punches, and the referee has stopped it. It's all over. The referee has stopped it. It's a win to Barry Michael. The referee has considered that Choi is outclassed. The Korean outclassed. The referee stopping the fight. So Barry Michael, in round 4 of this contest, retains his title. The referee stopping the contest in round 4.
Yes, that was an incredible punch by Barry Michael early on in that round before he finished off Choi. And what was impressive was the way that he continued to put the pressure on Choi until the referee decided to bring it to a halt, because the young man was in trouble, and it was a tremendous win for the champion. He came on strong. He saw his man being hurt, and it was just great. And I believe John Riley's up there now trying to interview the champion, which is great. Oh, beautiful right hand.
John, it was tough, all right. That man, I'm saying this after every fight, but I guess I'm up there in world class, but he can punch, mate. Everything he threw hurt, and he had a heap of guts. He was hurting me downstairs too with body punches. But, mate, we've done it again. I'm still the best. One more to go now, John.
I'll tell you what, you staggered a little bit when you hit him that round.
Hurt me with that left hook over that corner, yeah. He had me hurt.
Barry, were you boxing a little bit when you stepped back?
Yeah, I was clear. As soon as, a couple of seconds after he hit me, I was clear. And I knew he'd punch himself out. He couldn't fight the way he was fighting. He was just letting everything go at me.
Did you expect him to make that start, Barry?
I did. Yeah, I did. I expected him. He knew, I think, that he had to knock me out within 5 rounds. So he's never.
Oh, brilliant right hand by Barry Michael, which...
But believe me, I'm proud of him Wednesday.
You would have taken Barry, you told me the other day that the punch you really fear is the one you don't see coming. Were there any of those?
The left hook in that last round, I didn't see it at all. It shook me a little bit, John, but everything he threw had a lot of weight behind it, but I could see most of it. That's why I was just blocking and waiting for him to punch himself out.
You told me the other day that you'd have one more fight after this contest.
That's it, mate.
Is it still just one?
Just one more, mate. One more overseas for Australia. I'm going to retire undefeated.
Thank you.
Just stand over the side, yeah.
Hey!